to get your take on this. I reached out to AJ Rice. I'm like, who you got, man? Who you got for tonight?
Well, let's make history tonight. I'm traveling to Texas, so I had to, which I live there part time, but I've been spending a lot of time in Alabama, so I'm en route to an event out there, and they said, "Hey, you're on in 30 minutes," and I said, "You know what? What better place than to pull over in Gibbsland, Louisiana, which is where the Bonnie and Clyde Museum, the only crime that's ever been done, right, in this day today, I'm standing in that place where they were taken out of the world. People who were really evil people. But you and I can make history because my phone's been blowing up all day. My emails, everything got lit up. But and with all due respect to your guest before, not David, but the one before that, Mr. John, with all due respect, when you say law and order, we're a nation of law and order. You can't say that if you don't know the actual laws that Donald Trump put into place that show all of this was part of a plan. Now, you're going to have people call me a conspiracy theorist. You're going to have people call me crazy and all these things, but I'm a military veteran, and I know what codes are. I know what code language is. I know what comms are. And Executive Order 13848, I've said it on the air for about a year now, almost a year. It's in my documents. I said it's the most important piece of legislation since the Declaration of Independence, because that one key executive order that Donald Trump put into place 2 months before any election under Donald Trump. 2 months before any election, meaning 2018, 2020, and 2022. Inside that executive order, it specifically says, what does it say? Although there's been no foreign power alter the outcome or vote tabulation. Well, that right there cancels out my vote, your vote. Also, it cancels out the objections that happened on January the 6th. All right, so it cancels out, meaning this. It says no foreign power has altered the outcome. It didn't say domestic, right? So that key executive order was Donald Trump and the military generals. The generals are throwing a coup d'etat. It's all in laws. It's all in orders. The National Guard are out of their states every single day. They're out of their state jurisdictions. They've been out of their state jurisdictions since Donald Trump became a wartime president March 2020 with Executive Order 13912 and also 50 U.S. Code, Chapter 33, Section 1541. When he federalized 1 million National Guard to active duty. They've been out of their state jurisdictions. That's military. That was a direct military order, not a federal order. He made it a federal order with the order, the executive order, but it's also a direct military order. The Supreme Court clarified in the Military Justice Act of 2016 that got passed in the NDAA of 2017 that first time in history we've had a piece of paper that clarifies military law, courts, and personnel are separate from civil laws, courts, and personnel. When you put that together, that was a direct military order. He also put it in a federal order. Donald Trump still holds that command. So that makes him a sitting president. You cannot indict a sitting president. This same New York versus Donald Trump is in the Supreme Court document March 4, 2020. And it specifically says inside that Supreme Court document that you cannot indict a sitting president. Now people say, well, that was 2020. Executive privilege shows that Donald Trump is still your president. In November 2021, Donald Trump exerted executive privilege. All right, Biden, quote unquote. I always say it. I said it on your show. If you can't tell Biden is not the same dude as the vice president and the senator, you need to see an ophthalmologist yesterday. Not the same guy. It's a World War II history repeat called a Commonwealth Act 671. All right, so when you go look at this puppet in place, right? I get speechless because I'm baffled that people cannot see that this guy is a puppet. All right, now the laws and orders are there to back it up. So when you look at January 20th, 2021, 8 years, you got 4 and 8 years to get it right. How did the Army leave off a cannon, and how did Joe Biden have a full-grade military funeral service on January 20th, 2021? How did Donald Trump have a full-grade military and constitutional regulation inauguration on January 20th, 2021? So when you put all these in a bundle and you look at it, it's all, I know people get tired of hearing it's a plan, it's a movie. But you're watching a movie. Donald Trump's been dropping comms every single day. 2017, 2018, 23 times he said to a general, you're central casting. All right. When you Google central casting, you know what pops up? The first thing that pops up? The leading background actor agency in the United States of America. All right, so everybody's watching this movie, and you're watching what they did. The military generals wanted Donald Trump. They wanted an outsider. They wanted someone who wasn't a politician. They wanted someone who said they went in and did everything they said. So you and I both know, even at my age at 40, we've always had a Republican president get in, right? And they'll do what? They'll increase the defense, right? And then the economy kind of slacked off. Then a Democrat would get in and do what? Cut the defense, and then the economy will go up. That's not the kind of checks and balances that our founders talked about, right? So the simplicities is what people have to get back to. Donald Trump, can't no president now walk in that White House and say that you can't have a strong military and a strong economy at the same time. That's what the generals did with him. They're throwing a secret behind-the-scenes coup d'etat. All the laws and orders that show the National Guard are active every single day. The National Guard out of their states every single day. That's not part of their little 2-week plan that, the National Guard have 2 weeks of activity. No, I have documentation on those documents showing them out of their states every single day, all the way back to January 2021 and before. So when you put all that together, that's why I'm pumped up, because Trump getting quote-unquote indicted is part of that plan, because when you go read that executive order, you're like, wait, no foreign power, okay, no altering of the outcome. That means the whole outcome, and then the vote tabulation cancels out J6. It actually shows you J6 was a part of the plan too. And then when you go look at, the military made who? Biden, the fake Biden campaign half of 2020 about shut down Guantanamo Bay. If he was president, he'd have the same powers as every other president. He had shut it down. He hasn't revoked Executive Order 13823. I got documentation. I just posted it today. Gitmo plane in the sky going back and forth from Florida to Gitmo, back and forth every single day. 2 other words. Space Force. Donald Trump established the Space Force December the 20th, 2019. There's 2 words that have never been uttered, stuttered, or stammered out of the flapping flesh gums of Sleepy Joe, whether you think he's real or not, which we know he's not. But Space Force, that is, when it's a military branch, ladies and gentlemen, the commander-in-chief, you don't have a press secretary saying, hey, if the Space Force would like to come over here, we'd love to welcome them, we'd love to get to know them. That's not how the military works, right? So why did the Army and the Navy transfer all communications in August and December 2022 to the Space Force? All communications to be under one command. Who's that commander? Oh, I think the guy who established the Space Force, who talks about the Space Force, who wears the medallion on his arm, who when you walk in Trump International, the first logo you see on the right is Space Force, right? So then you go look at what? One more thing that proves the point. Supreme Court, your former guest said the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court and all courts, all of Congress are under a continuity of government. Federal Continuity Directives 1 and 2 issued January 17, 2017 and June 13, 2017. So 3 days before Trump took office, and then 5 months in, which shows what? It's continuous. It means this is really happening. And it shows all 3 branches of government under a continuity of government. So that means all the courts knows what's going on. All the who know what's going on, Congress. So what Executive Order 13848 did, it set a trap for all governors, attorney generals, judges, and lawyers that were all Obama, Bush, and Clinton appointed, the ones that don't want to uphold the laws and the orders that were put into place. That's what that order did, because he signed it 2 months before any election under him, which means what? The only evidence they had of voter fraud was 2016 and prior, which will vindicate Lou Dobbs in 2007, who got fired for saying Dominion systems would have future implications on elections. He got fired. Okay. Donald Trump had said some things that are very calm. He said recently in Waco, he said, we will be vindicated. We will be vindicated. The other thing that's important, children. Donald Trump knew leaving his lifestyle. He knew he was going to be attacked. He knew his family was going to be attacked. He knew his whole family was going to be shamed, defamed, mocked, ridiculed, slandered. He did this for children. We are talking about children, child trafficking. Joe Biden is one of the leading child traffickers out there. And nobody wants to talk about it. And then they get mad at me and people like me when I get passionate and they say, oh, you have an attitude problem. We have a pansy problem in this nation. We have a soft problem in this nation. We have spoiled Americans.
That's why I didn't like my previous guest trying to calm me down. I don't want to be calm right now.
No.
You can see a lot about what Derek's talking about if you think back to 2016, 2017, in Obama's last couple weeks of office, the flurry of orders that came out of there, the flurry of laws and stuff that came out of that, people really threw a fit about there. Well, Derek Johnson has it all. And it broke it all down, and you're seeing a lot of this stuff come to fruition today. I mean, we're locking up our political opponents, Derek Johnson. That's what we're doing. This guy's leading in the polls. We got to lock him up, and it's based on the stuff you have on the documents.info.
They're exposing. Donald Trump said, we have it all. We've caught them all. We equals military intelligence. When he was inaugurated on January 20, 2017, to his right and to his left, are two military officers, which were an optic comm, what we call optic comms in the military, on the headband, military intelligence and judge advocate generals. He was setting the precedent of what was about to come, and he specifically said, we have it all, we've caught them all, and all evidence and crimes will be displayed to the public in full accordance with the law. So that's what we're watching, and we're watching two things go on. We're watching a simultaneous military operation cleaning out drug trafficking, child trafficking, sex trafficking, human trafficking. Also, a quantum financial system, bringing back our gold standard, a blockchain technology, the quantum financial system, the quantum.gov, which they have on their site right now, World Quantum Day coming April the 14th. And we're also watching Donald Trump dismantle the rhinos, the festering rot of D.C., and he said we're going to do what? Obliterate the deep state. We're going to knock out 85% of street crime and gangs, and we're going to tear down some bad and ugly buildings. So you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? Emergency alert system, which are all in the federal continuity directives. It tells you all about the emergency response groups, the EAS, the emergency communications, and then Donald Trump said one more thing as I close. Pretty soon we're going to put our beautiful flag on the surface of Mars. Military Auxiliary Radio System. That was November the 15th, 2022. And here we are now, and he's making all these comms about tearing down bad and ugly buildings, obliterating the deep state. That means martial law. That means our National Guard are going to hit a button, that one command, that one voice, World War II history is going to repeat, and all these National Guard are going to swarm these cities and take out some bad dudes. And you're going to watch what happened in El Salvador, where 40,000 of these gang members were herded in like cattle and treated as they should be treated, as criminals.
Well, these criminals are running crazy. I got to let everybody know.
Hope I didn't lose you there.
Derek Johnson had 30 minutes notice for this show. He's out on the road. He stopped someplace. All this was from just memory from the documents he studied and put together. He did all this with short notice because you're going to see the general bland coverage, the same 5 talking points about this. Is Alvin Bragg working for Joe Biden? Is Trump, did he really do this? No. We wanted to get all the way back to 2017 with those flurry of documents from Obama. We started the show with Joe Hoff from the Gateway Pundit linking this back to Obama, how he got all this in motion. And we're finishing the show tonight with that. Derek Johnson, tell everyone how they can follow you, find you, everything.
So you can find me at the documents.info, the 1776nation.com. Also, I'm on Facebook, still trolling Facebook on 1776nation, still giving them grief over there. Getting blocked on some of my posts, but hey, it works. True Social at Derek Johnson, just my name as it is. I'm on Twitter, Rattletrap1776, and also Telegram, Rattletrap1776. So got a lot of them out there, but whatever your preference is, you can find me rattling away.
Where do we go from here? Last word to you. Where do we go from here? Because there's no president that could ever get a fair trial in this country. Either love him or hate him. There's no way to get a fair trial.
Well, what's going to happen is you're going to see the EAS when it's hit, whenever that is. I don't know the timeline. I just know by laws and orders it forms a true blueprint that I'm known for. But laws and orders truly form a blueprint in .gov and .military sites. And you got to know where that line was drawn in the sand. Us cowboys know about the Alamo, right? The line that was drawn in the sand. Well, the line was drawn in 2016. That's when the line was drawn. That's when the laws and orders changed. The law of war manual. You had the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It got updated. There's a lot of stuff. There was a line drawn in the sand. So all this stuff is what we call a dog and pony show. You have to have distractions with a continuity of government. So Americans need to know simplicity as a government. 75% of America can't even name the three branches of government. So you definitely ain't going to know what I'm talking about if you can't even say judicial, legislative, and executive. So you got to get back to the simplicities of government. No, you don't have to be a lawyer to know constitutional law, any kind of law. You don't have, here's your law degree right here. Use your brain. You got to be willing to read. It's a lot of information. And it's like John Wayne said, I'm only responsible for what I say, not for what you understand. But you have to be willing to go read this stuff. But it's a dog and pony show. It's all been planned. It's all part of lassoing all these evil people and exposing them. And there's going to be a lot of Republicans, too. This ain't just Democrats, ladies and gentlemen. So this ain't no party bullcrap thing. Get that out of your head. Understand this is good versus evil. And the good guys are in control. And me, you, Matt, and I, we are all going to take this baby back over. Donald Trump said, we're going to do what? Get back to the people. But you can't have that responsibility if you don't know what your responsibility is. So that's what people have to do. They got to get back to the simplicities of government and no, you don't have to be a lawyer or a congressman or any of that nature to understand what's going on. And once you read them, it's going to click, and then you're going to be like me, smiling, going, this is all part of the plan. Donald Trump is schooling all of them.
He is, and he's trolling them, too. They all were mad because he had a picture of a baseball bat and Alvin Bragg there. I mean, good God.
Well, let's just real fast, but really fast. Let's just be honest. Once again, on January 20th, 2021, Donald John Trump had 4 cannons. You can go all the way back to JFK, all the visuals on YouTube. Every presidential inauguration, the 3rd Infantry Division, also known as the Old Guard, also known as the official presidential salute battery, was with Donald John Trump at Joint Base Andrews with 4 cannons. That's a presidential inauguration. All funerals are also performed by the Army. All right. On January 20th, 2021, when 7.5 billion people thought they witnessed Joe Biden have an inauguration, they witnessed a 3-volley salute, 3 cannons, which means not a 21-gun salute. It is a full-grade military funeral service. That is the ultimate Donald Trump. Woo! Come on.
That's right. That is awesome. That is true. And if you don't believe him, you can see it on video. It's on video. He's the first one.
It's on video.
Free. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Gary Johnson, keep up the great work. We know you got a show coming up, so thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. And like I said, the only crime here is Bonnie and Clyde, this little Gibson, Louisiana.
That's right. And I've got to get that hat. I love that hat. All right. Take it easy.
Oh, you got to get one of these.
Yeah, that's a 10-gallon hat.
We'll see.